So we go into turn 4 of 9 Years' War, the War of the Grand Alliance. It's the year 1691. And in resolving the opening phases, there was a French victory in King William's War, which was the result was the victory point track went to 0. So not much happened there, but it had been an Allied favor. Then Marlborough passed his role, so he's remaining in good standing and active with the Allied army. But I did get the Beachy Head event. So the Anglo-Dutch were defeated by the French Navy with this card. So the Atlantic control passes over to the Bray fleet. And so I'm sure there'll be some implications of that. And then the French have 4 replacement points to spend, and the Allies have 6. So they, build some of their forces. Then on round 1, so the French have initiative. They decide to open up the round, and Vauban and Boufflers move into Ostend and then to Tourne. And the one corps that is there, the Allied corps, decides to go into the garrison, and one corps evades to Antwerp. Then a leader, a 1-4 rated no-name leader from Lille, also moves to, I believe, to Ostend. The Austrians then move under the Allies to from Milan to, or from Mantua to Milan, I guess is what is shown here, and then Waldeck moves to Antwerp, and then Max Emanuel moves from Munich to Ulm. So we see how the turn's setting up here. I also ended up having a French leader move into Nîmes. I think they're going to try to siege there. And then the Allies had Max Emanuel move to Philipsburg, and the French corps there decided to go into the garrison. Then the French besiege Nîmes, and it falls fairly easily. The one French corps is flipped, but because of the fall of this fortress, it's -1 victory point, and so which brings the victory point total to 15. And then the siege opens at Philipsburg, and basically the fort is now reduced down to 0, and the Bavarian corps is also reduced. Then a French corps is moved from Dunkirk to Tourne, and then the Allies' Max Emanuel continues his siege at Philipsburg, and the French corps is reduced, and the Bavarian corps also is reduced. So there'll be more attempts. Then the French move from Nîmes to into, I think, Comio, and then the Allies' Max Emanuel continues his siege at Pittsburgh on the last round here, and it does fall, and the French corps has honors of war and moves to Orlando, and so this is 1 victory point for the Allies, so it pushes the total back up to 16. Then we go into 1692, and the Allies this time win King William's War and get a victory point. So for this, so it goes up to 17 victory points, and Marlborough passes his check, so he is still with the Allied forces. And then Lorraine now cannot be promoted because apparently he died before his time came. So I'm guessing that's how I'm weaving this in the story. So the French spend their 4 replacement points. The Allies spend their 6 points. They both put colonial support in. And then the French take a 0 leader, which I don't know why I chose to do this, but I moved them from Bouchain to Landeau. And then Vauban went to Torma, and the corps that was there, I think it was a Spanish corps, decided to go into the garrison, but that's going to be besieged. Then I activated the Spanish leader Villahermosa, and he moved from Madrid to Bayonne and wants to commit a siege there. And of course, this is into French territory. And what I'm trying to do here is have a diversion here to really weaken the French and give them something to think about. Also, I had Max Emmanuel move from Phipsburg, which he captured last time, into Mainz, where he's going to open a siege there. Then I sent an Allied naval fleet, Strength 2, into the Atlantic, and it went up against the Bray fleet, and the Allies won this. So they get a victory point for that, as well as control of the Atlantic. So the victory points are now up to 18 victory points. Then in round 2, the French continued their siege at Tourna, and the fortress was reduced down to 1 strength, and the French also took losses from one of their corps. And then another French corps moved into Toulouse, and then the Allies started their siege at Bayonne, and the fortress there was also reduced down to a 1 strength, and one of the Spanish corps was also reduced. Also, the siege opened at Mainz, and Max Emmanuel failed completely here, and there was actually no damage to either side. Then in round 3, the first corps, 1 corps I should say, of the French moved to Bordeaux. This was from Paris, kind of to be more prepared for this Spanish threat. And then the siege at Tourna, I believe led by Vauban, ended up reducing the fortress down to 0, and the French corps took another reduction. Also, I had a 0-3 leader, and 2 corps from Cuneo moved to Clermont, I think. Then the Allies continued their siege at Bayonne, and this time the fortress was eliminated, and the Spanish corps was also reduced and had to accept honors of war. So Bayonne falls to the Spanish, and this is worth 2 victory points, pumping the total up to 20 victory points. Then the siege at Mainz continued, and the fort was eliminated. Honors of war were given to the defenders, and there's another victory point for the Allies. We are up to 21 victory points. Then the French use one operation, and it gets canceled by the bad weather card. So that's not so good. And, you know, the Allies have pretty much accomplished their objectives for this year. So they effectively throw a card. Then the French play their last card and run their siege at Tourna. And Antwerp does fall this time to the French. It's worth 2 victory points. So we drop from 21 back to 19 victory points. And then the Allies take some replacement points in Spain, I believe. So that pretty much takes us into the winter attrition turn and cleaning everything up and wrapping up the year 1692. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you all have a great day.